Hello, hello, hello. It has been some time, but welcome back to the Holy Rollers. We're in campaign 2 of Expedition with the Waymakers and the final chapter of Ascension or Ascent. We have rolled for prayer. It's been some time. We'll be short one this evening. Brandon has won the roll for prayer. So, Brandon, whenever you're ready, take us before the Lord. Amen. So, as a brief recap, I was gonna say,
A little
I
too
can't help it.
Pentecostal for me.
Back of my mind, it kind of pops up every once in a while whenever I hear like amen and then. So, for all of our listeners, it has been a minute, so I'm going to do a short but condensed recap of what has transpired last. The Waymakers recover and rest inside of Tears' chapel for the night, and through a variety of checks from various members, learn Tirza about middle of the night heads out for an unknown reason, and Minerva and Run being the two to catch this. Run in particular, actually, Minerva didn't catch it. Run caught it. Decided we'll hold on to that and ask her about it in the morning. Upon going to sleep, Run had a particular hawk dream with a being that identified himself as the twin, taking the visage of a green and black scaled kobold to put Run at ease. Thanked Run for returning his body to basically to see the sky again, and asking Run to promise him to hold on to his skull, and when the time comes, to trust him and let go, which was some convincing Ron Pinky promised. But then the dream ended with a visage of fire chasing the kobold away, but Run succeeding with the nat 20 to hold on to what visage passed over him. Something that seemed to be a being of flame with eyes within eyes and thousands of eyes. Jack, a biblically accurate angel passed over him. Draxlor took a chunk out of a pew, nearly. Run lovingly caused Draxlor's swords to once more talk to him, so again, Draxlor is still convinced that his swords are sentient and they're just really stubborn when they decide to talk. Hasn't questioned it yet. Definitely a highlight next to the skull. The group sits down for breakfast with Tirza and Denia. One of which, Draxler notices that Bazil did not wake up at his normal time. They check on him. He's inside his cauldron, sleeping. Most of the group's cinnamon, Draxler and Minerva, through various checks later, at the moment just pass it off as exhaustion from calling out to his deity in the corruption zone, and the deity answered. That took a lot out of him, so they pass his exhaustion off to that for the moment. But Bazil doesn't inevitably wake up, join the group for breakfast. And through breakfast, Tirza progressively gets more and more concerned about this group and how many red flags in her mind, events and people they have run into, from the being that Palos and Dauger met the group, that very special way in with the three sisters, the fact they've encountered not one, not two, but three Dovene, a third, they didn't even know that there was a third, just speculated that there was a third, and that they owe the Shadrian, particularly, a favor, which is why they went into the corruption zone to begin with, to get this true root. Tears Up requests the group watch Denia like a hawk, takes Uli aside when she realizes Uli has potentially put some pieces together and has a talk with him. But where we left off, a very familiar face nearly batters down the door to the sanctuary as Dauger, being pulled back from Palos, locks eyes with Denia and says, "Finally, that is not the moment in time we are returning to. We have to go back several hours, because Bazil went to bed for the night, crawled into his cauldron, and found himself inside a room, sitting in a chair, surrounded by cloaked figures. And the lead figure walks forward, takes off his hood, and reveals Bazil's father. Surrounding him are Cass Duman operatives. And this moment in time, which we originally touched quite some time ago, we will now let come to pass. So, Bazil, your father has taken his hood off. The rest of the Cass Duman operatives continue to have their hoods on. And your father is staring at you. His traditional expression, it's, you can make a check, but you've stopped a long time ago to wonder whether he's always dour or he's just dour when dealing with you.
Bazil just looks at him and says, "Father, so what do I owe the pleasure?"
Read the charges. Turns his head to look to the operative on his right. Figure takes out parchment. Bazil, War Master, son of Tel, War Master. You stand charged on the following. On the charge of the murder of a Greenstrider, former handler of the group classification of Waymakers. Cleared. Father holds a hand up. Your defense given at the time was investigated upon your fleeing and was found to be credent. Multiple other instances arose shortly after over the passing weeks, leading us to believe that the entire expeditionary force, and potentially others, had been infiltrated by Kobold spies. Thus, that charge is not held against. Sir, you may continue. Yes, Lord. The charge of the theft of a relic, powerful and previously surrendered, stands. The assault upon Lord Ambassador Theron temporarily abstained. The charge for harboring potentially dangerous persons of interest, Palos, and Minerva. And the charge of treason and intentional stirring of political flames with the intent, perceived or otherwise, to destabilize and sow chaos. Thus you sit accused. What do you say for these charges, boy?
My first question would be as to what relic was supposedly stolen.
Your father steps forward. Bazil, I would highly recommend you stop and think before you play games, considering the situation you are in. You know exactly the relic we speak of because it was that same relic that your group was seen returning with, which is why you are being charged with the latter, most grievous offense.
We turned in said relic, and that relic was taken away. We never saw that relic until it magically appeared in my bag of holding one day. No one stole it.
Bazil, I need you to roll me a charisma saving throw, please.
$22.
As you say that, you feel like basically like bile trying to come out of your stomach, and you actually have to stop and like you keep it down, but your body had a reaction to at the end of that last sentence.
Confused for a moment.
Your father, even now, you still lie to my face. It's disgraceful. So then I ask you, do you do this intentionally? Do you do this to spite me?
Father, to the best of my knowledge, I do not lie. I still have that much respect for you, at least. Despite you not having respect for me being your son. But that is not what we're here for.
Then I will give you this one chance to explain why you waltzed back into this village, blatantly and brazenly brandishing that relic.
It was not our intention to blaze the relic. We were in a situation and we made do with what we had on hand. Things happened. We survived. That is
This
what
is
happened.
why. Still, this is why I feel relief now that you pushed me away in favor of learning the raid. I'm glad I never initiated you. Because you have no respect for what we do and the balance we so desperately strive to maintain and the order we seek to keep and protect. Therefore, as you are my son, I give you this one final chance to lessen what follows. Do you swear that you did not, or your party did not, steal back that relic, and that you did not willingly, in view of the entire order and congregation of kingdoms, flaunt that relic, which has the capacity to bring about a fourth reunification war like that?
I
You did
swear.
not do this willingly.
I swear upon my life that neither I nor any of my party stole this relic back from the campaign once we handed over said relic. I further
This was
swear.
a saving throw before you continue.
Oh, nat 20. For a total of 26.
You maintain composure as you, again, feel the back of your throat burn as stomach acid and bile is fighting to try and push its way out. But you mask it so well, no one catches it. Continue.
I further swear on my life that it was not our intention to flaunt said relic abroad in order to antagonize a fourth war.
He looks at you. I don't know which is more sad, the fact that you are telling the truth in that last matter, which means you are really, truly ignorant to what you have done. He steps back. Therefore, I tell War Master of Cast Dumo, pass judgment upon Bazil War Master, son of Tel War Master. You shall remain persona non grata, to be kept under surveillance, but not executed. Yet. Your party will all remain personas non gratas for the moment until the validity of your latter confession proves true. However, that does not apply to your compatriot Minerva. she is now considered a liability. And unfortunately, that which she has stolen from Castumo can only be repaid for in kind.
What has she stolen from Casnuma?
That does not concern you, only that she has absconded with a murdered agent's weapon. The same agent that was formerly in your group, whose death and circumstances lie fully half upon your party.
You're referring to Bram and his weapon. She did not take it as intention to steal. We merely took it as a memento to honor his memory. If you
It was
want,
not his to give, and it was not hers to take.
there was no markings of Castuma on the weapon to identify it as Castuma's. If there were, I would have noticed.
What other nation uses these weapons?
Are we sure there are none?
We're sure. Prior to this city in which we find ourselves, there was none.
And I will retrieve the weapon and return it. And Minervus remains untouched.
That's no longer an option.
Why?
That does not concern you, persona non
As a
grata.
member of
She
my
was already upon our list. This
As
has
a-
escalated her.
as a member of my party, she falls under my protection.
Well, what happens next is entirely up to you. I'm simply doing you the courtesy as your father informing his son the consequences of your actions and the consequences of her actions. Finally, your compatriot Palos has also been upgraded to a person of extreme interest. Should you survive out here, you are still considered exiled from the expedition, and my final advice is to not remain there, as there is most definitely a bounty upon all of your heads that we will not erase. But you will be allowed to return to Arundel. And return to your cookings, and your pots, and your pans. My judgment is passed. Throws his hood over, and you feel a brick in the side of your neck. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. Remember, this is at disadvantage because of your exhaustion.
Of course. Not as good. 18.
You feel the tranquilizer seize your muscles, and you fight it, but your body, whether it's the entire last 2 days finally catching up and your body, given the smallest window of opportunity, is seizing it and like prying it open against your will, you feel your body just start to droop, and like sleep begins to take over as you basically shut down. I will allow, in this last second, one at disadvantage perception.
All right. I ain't gonna see anything with a 10.
You hear mumbles, but then sleep takes you. And the next thing you know is actually a peaceful sleep. You don't have nightmares. You don't have bad dreams. It's whatever they gave you just put you to sleep. And your body was so exhausted, it took that and ran a marathon. Because you don't stir until you feel cinnamon, like physically poking you, looking into the cauldron as you're just curled up at the bottom, letting you know that breakfast was ready.
I'll wake up in a confused state. Breakfast?
Yeah. You okay?
Who cooked?
Who cooked? I don't know.
Or like, Tirza cooked. She put a plate aside for you. I want to eat it, so you better get out here.
Poke my head up over the cauldron.
You see the rest of the Waymakers at the altar, and there's trays with a simple breakfast of, I believe it was biscuits and gravy, I said.
I climb out and come and retrieve the plate.
You feeling better after that sleep?
Player question: it's just the party around here, right?
It is the party with Tirza and Denia. At this point, you've had your long rest. You're only at level 1 exhaustion. So all your other exhaustions from the hero sleep has been dealt with. You have your additional plus 12 added to your HP now. You just have level 1 catching up from calling out to your goddess and her answering.
Gotcha. Yes, I'm feeling not 100%, but I am feeling much better.
Well, Lala did answer you, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it was weird when you didn't wake up. I had to check on you. She nearly took my head off.
As I would expect.
You had pleasant dreams.
Dream is not the term I'd use. Pleasant, even less.
Oh boy.
Do tell. You just had an interaction with your god. I would have thought they would at least grant you pleasant sleep.
Yeah.
I would say, like, thus far, I mean, we might be retconning some of the previous, but the storyline I did last time was that Bazil kept to himself through breakfast because I didn't know how Bazil was going to react to being told what he was told. So we can do a little bit of retconning here of what Bazil actually says. As a reminder, Tirza and Denia are there listening, so it's not just the Waymakers.
Yeah, so Bazil's not going to divulge what just happened with Tirza and Denia in front of them. So probably along the lines of, let's just say, a bit of a headache. Is what I dreamed on. Nothing to worry about.
I rolled a 10 insight, so I believe you.
Just for Heck, Bazil, go ahead and roll me a. Oh, why don't I have you roll to hide? You're trying to. Your deception. Give me a deception, since you're actually trying to like not now, but you're trying to like pretend.
14.
Yep. Minerva, you see nothing. Bazil, you see Run giving his skull food.
Because of course.
Now, internally, Bazil is backlogging what happened at that trial and is particularly the part about his body reacting to him swearing on his life that nobody in the party stole the sword. And now he is contemplating, just looking at each individual and contemplating like who it could
I
have.
need you to add insight, actually. Or Arcana of your choice.
Definitely going to be insight, and that's going to be a 24.
Yeah, you're doing that because you run your head through. You've only encountered this once before. Granted, you had yours done in a different way, because there's certain ways to prepare food magically to do the exact same results. You're not good enough to get it. So they must have used a zone of truth when you entered that room. And your body only reacts the way it does when you lie. Even unknowingly. So, according to what you believe, or what you think, when you said, no one from my party stole the sword, the relic, that was a lie.
And at this point, Bazil would be just trying to deduce, on the off chance it was someone from the party, who.
Before the door gets broken down, Denia looks over at Cinnamon and goes, so I guess there's one bit of unfinished business that we should. You still have that gauntlet bag, yes?
The what bag?
She looks at Cinnamon, the gauntlet bag.
Hold on.
It's not in her inventory. It's when Denia picked up the bones of the desecrated being that the truth was growing out of, and like her gauntlet kind of enclosed it like a sarcophagus. Because she said, oh yeah, these are desecrated as all heck.
And she handed them to Cinnamon?
To hold on to, because she trusted Cinnamon.
Gotcha. Okay. Cinnamon stepped away. So Cinnamon says yes.
Mother, let's. Does Cinnamon hand them over to Denia?
Yes.
Long story short, so this is what was the source of the corruption at the root. The kobold, the skull that the kobold is currently holding. Please don't try to take it. He's already. We'll cross that bridge. Basically, it's growing out of that. And here are the rest of the bones. I think you need to perform the cleansing ceremony upon them, because this, from what I can tell from my training, this is one heck of a desecrated body. And there was some very serious mojo going on. I felt it best to secure it, and we should this is your forte. You should do something and purify these remains, at the very least. And that was when, as she's handing them, you all hear a booming sound as the doors to the sanctuary just probably making you all jump just a little bit. Tirza runs over. Boom, 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 etc., etc. Door opens, and you see Dalgier, fist raised, with Palos grabbing and pulling him away. Which Palos looks a little different. Prior to, Palos always had a slightly disheveled demeanor about him. His run in particular, you remember, his armor was torn, like sigils had been ripped off. He told you basically because he's an Oathbreaker, served your former patron, but always had this disheveled look about him. He is in different armor now. He doesn't look like a outcast Oathbreaker on the run. He looks like someone who's about to walk into a war zone because he's in different armor. And it's like you only put on armor like that if you're anticipating going into a scrap. Context for Palos's appearance. He looks different. Dalgier looks the same, just a bit more disheveled from... Finally. I
Do an
promised you
insight check,
on...
Algier.
Sure.
Have to do disadvantage, don't I?
Yes, because you are at a disadvantage because of the previous conversation you had with Tirza and the twist that happened.
9.
He looks just like you saw him when you left. Impatient and wanting this conversation to happen, except now he's not waiting for you guys to get back. You're back, and there's a giddiness to him. Here's just Mama Bear starts to come out a bit. We're like, yes, I promised you a conversation. Just hold. There's no need to break down the door to a church. Capiche? Denia just leans over to Minerva and who's that?
Our compatriot. Do you know him?
No?
Are
And
you
is the
sure?
guy behind him a bodyguard?
No. They are add-ons, but important ones.
Huh. The three individuals make their way. Palos releases Dalgier's other hand, but is following in lockstep right behind him. But there's a tenseness there that wasn't there before. Tirza has him stop halfway through, just you. Your other compatriots is sitting in on this. This is no longer a negotiation. They sit and listen, or you don't have this talk. In other words, I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it further.
EM
I-
takes 1d psych damage.
Yep.
Minerva is to the point.
It fits.
Minerva's to the point where this may as well happen. You know, we just get defecated upon by everyone we meet. Fine. Call me when the set of Mari explodes.
And now Minerva will take.
I accept your psychic damage.
Well, she
Oh, wait.
trusts. Oh,
Oh,
we
where'd they go?
lost. Oh no!
We lost
Well,
the beverages.
we lost the beverages to their internet again, probably. Not trying to do edification, as they say. It's just.
Oh, they
This
said
was-
gotta go, might be back.
All right. We got to real time for 5 minutes. I'll just have them become cardboard cutouts and we'll just continue on.
I finish this campaign at the rate we're going, much less start mine.
I'm doing my best.
No, it's not you. It's everyone's scheduling and life happening. It's not you, sweetie pie. That was not a comment on you. I promise.
For the moment, Cinnamon and Bazile will remain cardboard cutouts until proven otherwise or readdressed as physical corporeal beings. Denia will sit up and... Is this... Mother, is this the young man you said wished to speak with me, claiming to be related? Yes, Denia, this is he. She will step aside. Thus far, you all... Cinnamon... Bazile kind of like wanders off to the side, but like sits down near the end of a pew over by the middle. Cinnamon kind of sits next to him, kind of notice him feeling a little... acting a little un-Bazile-like, which is also keeping an eye on this, but you notice her gaze keeps going to Palos, and there's another look of concern just upon her face. But Uli, Run, and Minerva, as Palos and Dajer are brought forward by Tirza towards Denia, what are the three of you doing?
Watching Dalgier just because what I've learned so far, I don't know if we really know him. Based upon what Tirza said and what we've learned and like my conversation, whatnot. So I'm just watching him like a hawk and subtly preparing some possible spells just in case if things go sideways. Which I hate to be. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope Dalgier is the person we think he is. But in case he's not, I'm just going to be prepared. I haven't lived this long by being
Unprepared.
Stupid.
unprepared.
You know, we've actually had that talk, I think, as a team. If Dalger isn't the person he thinks he is, he'd be at a prime location to do some serious damage.
And Run?
Oh my lord.
What do you have the skull say? So that's how. I guess the real question is, are you having this one-way conversation off of Minerva's shoulder, or have you returned to your perch? Okay, so Run is presently still Macbethan on Minerva's shoulder. And Minerva is just done with everybody's drama. Both external, internal, and internal.
Yeah, it's the best way I know how to deal with drama is to kill things, and I am not permitted to do that in these circumstances. So Minerva is just sitting in the tension and hating it.
Oh, can I do one more thing before?
Sure.
Can I just do cast detect magic?
Sure thing. And then once more, are you going to do this stealthily?
Yes.
I asked for a very specific reason. I need you to roll your stealth first.
Yeah, I rolled 2 18s. So my stealth bonus isn't much. So.
I'm glad someone was rolling good tonight.
So that's a 21 plus 3. So.
Okay. All right, go ahead and you cast Detect Magic. Now, where you are, because it's 30 feet, you would have to move closer to, depending upon who you're trying to check. Denia is closest to you, so within that. But if you're trying to encompass any of our newcomers of Dager, Palos, or Tirza, you would have to maneuver yourself.
Well, yeah, he's gonna cover it as pretending he's like greeting Palos and Dalger.
Okay, so your
Anyways.
your primary people you're checking is Palos and Dalger.
I'm checking everybody, but like I'll walk between Tirza and Danaya if I need to, and then make my way over there.
Okay.
I'm checking everybody.
All right, it is 10 minutes. I'm just letting you know you have to to do the sweep proper, you would have to. So you start. You manage to, as far as you are aware, thinking the last time you did this and the look Denia gave you and the fact of you read nothing, like nothing. This time you make a bit more of a conscious effort to not make it evident. And you think you succeed because when you turn to look at Denia, she's glowing.
What kind of magic is it?
Let me triple check. Believe it's just, it lets you see that they have bears magical items. You would have to do identify to know what it is and what type of magic. Detect magic just tells you there's something magical, like magical items. And it's
I
not
thought it
just,
told you the class.
I believe detect magic. If you sense magic in this way, use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object that bears magic.
And you learn
and
its
you learn the
school of
school,
magic.
if any. That is fair. That's fair. Primarily, what you're sensing on Denia is a lot of illusory.
Uh-oh.
And
Anytime you
protection.
want to tag Minerva in, she's bored.
Yeah.
However, I would say as you do it, you sense stuff like illusory, but also a lot of protection from basically every protection, everything is on her. Protection good and evil, protection living and dead, like, and these are not, I'd say because of your age, these aren't chump change protections. These aren't low-level illusory things. Whatever she has, or magical artifacts, items, are powerful.
Are they old? Like, is it like old Earth, like the old world type magic? Like
Now,
when I was young, or is
y-
this like just powerful?
you think probably more of a well-versed, aged enchanter rather than someone more your persuasion. So someone who knows their stuff, but maybe not someone who's what you were suggesting, that old blood. So that the eye is lighting up. You move over to Tirza, Palos, Dager, and again, you get a items on Tirza, items on Dager, Palos as well. His armor seems different. This is not the armor you last saw him in, because last time he didn't have magical armor like this. This seems to be protection, but more not cleric based, but definitely has a more holy aura to it than just regular magical armor. Like a cleric probably imbued it with specific intentions. Alos and Dalger sees you like coming back. It's like, huh. Everything go okay? It's
Well, we definitely had some close calls.
really, I mean, that's new.
Going to Palos.
Run with the skull.
Oh, yeah. He seems to get more eccentric the longer we know him.
Maybe we're the ones making him eccentric. Have you thought about that?
Very possible.
I mean,
Is Dazir glowing at all? Like physically glowing?
he has a magical weapon. A couple magical weapons that you swear you remember seeing him have before. There's a lingering you can't place though. It's weird.
Hey, one more time. Say that one more time. Sorry, the cat
There's a
distracted me.
there's a lingering there that is a little weird you can't place. And unfortunately, I won't allow you to, without a actual roll of an arcana, to get anything more than that. Master Chief,
Yeah. So Uli's gonna so he's also gonna say one more thing to Dazir. He's just gonna say, well, I got what to do. So he's gonna say, Uli, sorry, Dazir, you've been waiting for this moment. This is the time. Don't waste it.
I
I'd
don't
like to
intend
try
to.
and get insight on his reaction.
All right, go ahead.
Come on, don't be stupid. You're being stupid. Natural one.
Oh. Yeah, middle of the road. He seems calm. Like there's still that excitement that's clearly visible, but read wise, he seems calm.
Do you have any silvery barbs that
Let me see. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that happens to the target that.
Nope, he just rolls a new d20 and has to use it. Also, I grant a advantage on a attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, but it has to be used within a minute.
All right,
to somebody of my choice.
so Uli, you suddenly feel a Minerva come up and kind of like tap you on the back, like, come on, let him have a.
You tell he's not focused. He's like looking at too many things at once. Hey, pay attention.
Try again.
Try
again.
That is a 19.
And if he needs more, I've got something else.
With a 19, everything I said before, he's playing it cool, clearly excited. Dalgier wasn't lying when you said, been waiting for this for a while, make it count. It's not just excitement, it's like a completion of a quest years and years and years long that's just 5 feet away or one question away. What you don't sense is any thought that it's not going to end the way they think. He is convinced, committed. That is his sister. With that 19, he believes he is at the end to finally confirm to her, not to himself, almost like to her. Like he's so convinced he is correct.
Let's see. So since everybody out seems to be out of the place and but Minerva just tapped it, like he'll turn and he'll whisper like what he's learned so far. Let's see. I think he has message. So hold on. Let me double check. I might have message, so he might be able to do it even less. No, I did not have that. So he'll take Minerva to the side, not too far, but just to the side, and quickly give her the Ark's notes. That Denia is covered in illusion and protection magic, that Palos's armor is divine, and that Dalgier seems to be that there's something magical lingering, but he seems to be convinced of things. That we need to watch everybody really carefully.
Yeah, I'll say. There's just this. There's something in the air.
Dalgier will step forward, closing the distance, so there's now 10 feet from Denia, and Denia is just eyeing him.
I have a couple spells prepared.
Lady Tirza, or Palos, whichever one of you has this, to make good on my intentions, I ask you to cast Zone of Truth on this conversation.
I think that's a Bazil thing.
Well, he asked Tirza or Palos.
Okay.
I just actually checked. Bazil does not have Zone of Truth prepared.
I am listening, but I'm going to mute for a second.
Okay. There's a slight taken aback, almost like he didn't. No one expected him to do this, or for him to instigate the asking of this.
Does Dalgier did that?
Yeah, Dalgier asked to, like, full transparency, hey, cast Zone of Truth in this conversation.
Interesting.
Tears just looks at him and very well. You have your zone.
Can I make a just Arcana check? Is it like, did she actually do that, or is she just saying it?
I mean, you can. Because the rest of the Waymakers just kind of circle in. It's 15 feet radius, so
Yeah. Yeah, I got like 4, so looks good to me.
you know, I go for Bazil and Cinnamon. So inadvertently, with that, the entire Waymakers, Tirza, the entire group is now within the circumference of this Zone of Truth. More for everyone's benefit, but kind of, let's see. Okay, Bazil also is like, it seems all right.
Minerva might want to see that too.
I was muted.
Oh,
So we've been told
okay.
not to be involved in the conversation. Minerva, I don't see would have any like reason
Yeah,
to be in the
she's more.
circle.
Well, it's 15-foot radius, so where everyone is presently sitting and placed, everyone is now inside the circle of Zone of Truth. Just more of just, even if you're not actively part of the conversation, just as a FYI, because it's a 15-foot radius, all the Waymakers are presently in a Zone of Truth. Cinnamon had a nat 20.
Nice.
She's kind of sees you, like, do your, like, and she's kind of like shoots you a look of, yeah, I know that's real. Well, there is no use to sugarcoat this, so I am your brother. You are my sister. He stops. And nothing happens. You see, Lady Tears? I'm not lying. I am her brother by her father. Again, nothing. Tears is white. That's not possible.
Lily's gonna just gently prod. Why is that, Tirza?
Because and you realize she's now choosing her words very carefully because she's also in the Zone of Truth. Cuts both ways. Because we were told it was just her.
Told by who?
You see, Denai is just. Mother, we may as well just swear them all to secrecy at this point. They went through hell to get me. Snaps her fingers and the sword materializes in her hand. And they saw me with this. You see Dajir kind of just that looks new. And familiar. Why?
It seemed to take a liking to her.
Well, it's more than a liking. Here's just slumps in her seat. I'm going to go stand outside the door and make sure nobody else comes in. Have your God's damned conversation then.
And who said this?
Irza. And then she gets up and goes to the front door, walks outside and closes it.
I'm gonna look at Run, kind of tap him on the back of the leg. Follow her.
Okay.
Do it quietly.
Okay. Naya. I'm masking, but I will. Well, I can't lie. I would call you a liar, except that clearly you are not. As far as I was told, as far as any of us were aware, there was only me. This changes things. Not sure how or what this is going to mean, but that's neither here nor there. How? Dodger, look. I'm from Kadristan. As these past several years have gone on, I felt something was missing, something was wrong. And through much hard work, learned who my father was. Or rather, who our father is. It's how I learned you existed. And my father encouraged and implied I needed to reconnect and find you. But all I knew was you were out here, somewhere. Connected with the expedition that's... Oh, by the way, guys, the expedition's here. Probably already figured that out, but just so you
Might have
know.
noticed.
He rolled his eyes a little bit.
That means my boy is probably here.
Yes, looked into that. we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah. Put a censor bar over that.
Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing there?
And that's
Try-
Cortana right there.
Oh, that's. Oh, right.
She's practicing for her OnlyFans.
We're okay. So,
You stinker.
Denia. So then, it's my turn. You all. Well, you got half of it figured out. Sword again. He keeps it. Well, that's the Emperor's sword, so that means you're the Emperor, right?
Correction.
Who says that?
Draxler.
If you come from the same father, would that not mean you have equal right?
I don't want to be Emperor, Dozier says. Any more than I do, but they have raised me these last decades in war, magic, history, artificery, everything a potential future monarch might need to know. With the knowledge that one day, reality of who I am is going to come to light sooner or later. And I would have to fulfill what my father wants.
Who is your father?
My father is the Celestial.
Which one? DM, are we talking Golden Boy, Goth guy with the Raven, uh, living twin, or dead twin?
None of the above.
Okay, I'm confused.
We're talking a capital GOD.
Okay. That we've not met and not heard about until this moment.
Correct.
Wonderful. Continue.
All I feel comfortable sharing in this forced, not entirely wanted truth sharing circle is that I am a plan that has been set in place by, at minimum, 4 gods. And that's my father sired those which were the emperors. And that's, for whatever reason, they are the only of the pantheon that can. Children of the gods are forbidden on this plane, save his. And she will briefly, oh, wait, we're not in D&D Beyond, so actually I can do one thing. Un momento.
Okay.
I can briefly do So she takes one of her rings, and in the last minutes that the circle of truth is up, twists it. And her visage dissolves, and this is what you see.
Holy.
A tiefling of blue skin, red eyes, but glowing blue horns.
Not a
She's a tiefling. You are all Uli is as flabbergasted as everyone, but this is an impossibility. This should not exist. Because this is two contradictory forces. That is an Azamar
Yeah.
tiefling.
An angel devil hybrid, basically. Interesting. Well, if she's going to join the kingdoms, she may as well join the factions of celestial play.
She did. And like a wave, her previous form comes back. And while this reveal is happening, Run, you were sent to follow Tirza. So she went through the front door. How do you intend to follow, out of curiosity? Go ahead. Oh,
Lord.
go ahead. Give me a stealth if you're trying to be discreet about, like Minerva said, do it quietly. If you so choose to do it stealthily. You're no, because you're not at disadvantage. Your exhaustion. Ah, no, you get the nat 20 because yes, you would normally have disadvantage, but as you said, you checked with the skull first. Ooh, and a 91% severity.
Oh, my word.
You do that, and it's kind of uncanny because you're hearing the streets and people moving, but it's like your senses are starting to dialed up. They can almost, like in your mind's eye, visualize where Tirza is just outside the door. And you can almost see exactly how you could just hug a wall just to the corner and stay inside of a shadow part, and she would never see you, which is an impossibility. And yet, like a dance, you move your way in to that spot on the other side of the door with such finesse, it kind of scares you because there was some acrobatics in there with the skull. It should have been difficult, but it wasn't. It was easy. You know what? That's fair. You suddenly find yourself. It feels weird. Okay, it feels weird. You realize that much. That was weird. But you it tingles a little. You're in the corner of the doorway, and you see Tirza on the steps, sobbing. Like she is sitting, kneeling on the steps, and she's just like choke sobbing into her hand, just looking out. Because you see two of her. You see, yes,
Her
you
blue
see,
ghosty version and herself.
no, Tirza doesn't have that. That's only
Oh, wrong one.
Cece.
Carry on.
No, because you actually see Tirza crying. And you see a Tirza standing in the same spot looking. Your stealth was so good you saw through an illusion.
Oh, very cool. It's only been about a month since we've played a real Sesh DM, sorry.
Oh, hey, no worries. So, Tirza's having a breakdown on the steps, but she has a magical illusion projected, so it appears she's standing there in a mama bear form just guarding the entrance.
But in actuality, she's having a breakdown.
Exactly. So, Run, you are perfectly hidden, very well hidden. What do you wish to do or not do in this present circumstance? Actually, as you do that, before I need you to first a charisma saving throw. Because as that thought crosses your mind to move forward to do this, we'll see what there was. That was not a nat 20? Oh, oh, that's
Good
right. Run has a
Jiminy,
ridiculous.
Brandon. I think we found your strengths.
Right. Because for a second you felt something like, no, you shouldn't intervene. You should let this play out. Be like, without like it passes like a leaf in the wind, just like, get out of here. Just continue. So with your natural 20 stealth, she's so oblivious that she doesn't realize what you are doing until you've already got onto her non-sobbing shoulder and begin patting the top of her head. Before she's like, read a word of this, I'm going to add your skull to his, understand?
Aw.
Can't overlook your concern or kind-heartedness, young one. Yeah. You mistake sadness for... No, it's sadness. It's grief. It's lamenting. It's... You don't understand what's happening. You don't grasp the full picture of what this means, what he means.
Paulus.
With with her brother. Voice cracks. Can't believe I have to say that. Little Kobold, I don't know what to think because under similar circumstances I was told it was only her. So, but then who lied? What? An emissary of her father. I think that might be a blessing. You don't see the tangled web that many more learned tend to hold in esteem. There is a simplicity to that I envy. I wish she actually kind of just... So this is how it all begins. The closing of one age and the beginning of whatever comes next. She stands up and... You're from here. From Flokar. It's all you've ever known. My daughter will tell you what she is, since that's most likely what is occurring in there, but just know this. There are a great deal when they learn who she is and will want to either worship her or kill her where she stands. Simply we really need to take care of that. You realize that's a desecrated skull, correct? Intimidation.
Plus 20. Oh, well.
She just looks at you with a mix of pity and
Fondness. Like,
fondness
that kind of
before
helpless fondness that I get.
before a bit of the bear comes in and just, that skull has probably cursed you.
Probably.
Eh.
It didn't stick.
She just looks like, no, I don't think you understand what has happened to you. But you soon will, I think. Their 5 minutes are up. Let's go back in. You may stay on my yes, you may stay on my shoulder.
Excuse me. The blankety blank blank are you gonna walk in like?
So as Denia
What
twists a
in the
ring,
frick frack patty whack are you doing?
Minerva! The door opens and Tirza comes in with a green kobold on her shoulder
Blue.
with his skull.
Blue? Green, you're right, sorry.
Sorry, the green
can't even-
kobold.
I can't even get his color right. What do I have to complain about?
Yeah, we
sorry.
do. I don't have.
I was on another screen and it's unsettlingly cute. I'm going to look at you on her shoulder. My eyes are going to narrow in the kind of we're going to talk about this later way. And I'm going to oh crap. So, you've given me one bug to eat, which I did. What was the other thing you gave me? The first thing. Didn't you give me like a rock or something? Okay. That was it, like a penguin. Uh, I'm going to take the stone out of my pocket, grip it firmly in my hand, and just put my fist down at my side. Just shaking my head. I
This
can't
is
undo
actu-
the bug I ate, but I can hold on to that pebble.
This is the moment, actually, as Tirza comes in. Palos, who has stood by and just let all these conversations transpire, almost like waiting, decides to finally speak. Well, then, that is that. What is done, and what needed to happen has happened. Whether you wanted it or not, Tirza, the day arrived. Not how you wanted it to arrive, but it is here. And so is he. Looks at Minerva. I asked you to promise me not to do anything foolish or stupid.
As with the last time I met that scum upon the earth, family murdering psychopath, I didn't start anything. But I will defend my life and those of my compatriots without hesitation or remorse.
Well, I hope whatever changed doesn't add to it.
What are you talking about?
He comes up to you, looks you dead in the eye. There is a hand upon your shoulder.
Oh, talking about the potential future bargain with Golden Boy, um, aka Satan.
I didn't say that.
No, you didn't have to. It's okay. Just, is what it is. My eyes are gonna narrow at him. My path forward has always been clear.
Well, I just pray that I don't have to stand in the middle of it.
I would rather you stand by my side.
That may not be your call to make, unfortunately. This said, however, that is not the only he to which I refer to. Our benefactor has eyes now and here. You'll probably wish to coordinate and collect before we move further, since I imagine Cece would probably wish to know that you have that
The
and
skull?
everything that is.
Oh, most assuredly. And the sooner we can politely separate it from Run would probably be best for all.
Bajir, like, well, now that we've established I wasn't crazy, all I'm asking now, can I at least make sure my sister stays safe, considering the implications of what she is and history's previous course, which transpired?
I look at Denaya and say, I think you've got yourself a set of bodyguards.
I've lived with bodyguards my entire life, Minerva. I was raised by one of them.
Well, I'd like to think we're a lot more fun, so.
Oh, you haven't met Farron too much. He's the party animal. Feren, the artificer
Thank
master.
you. I was about to say,
It's like,
say that again. I was like, thank you for spelling it. I nearly stroked.
see, you have Minerva and Muriel, Margot, and Macbeth. I have Theron and Farron.
Thank you.
One's
Okay.
a th and one's a f.
Very
That was
fair.
a
Very fair.
completely unintentional.
Okay, that's funny. No, thank you.
One
That's
wants to
fine.
kill Minerva, and one wants to raise her up to an artificer mastery.
Yeah. Either way, my future's tied to both of them, because if I live through killing Theron, I go to visit Farron and apprentice under him until I die.
Mm. Tirza, I need to pretend like the last 10 minutes did not happen and resume my duties.
Best of luck
Just-
to you.
Well, just know this. The responsibility that may or may not be upon you, I do not wish. Because the weight I did not wish to put upon others. It was my groups to bear. You inadvertently forced our hand. So I'm not going to entirely forgive all of you about that. Just so you know. I don't like this change. I don't like this being forced early, outside of our control.
Lady, if you're unhappy with us, you're gonna have to take a freaking number. We have a fan club. They meet on Wednesdays. Letter jackets are $60 only by mail-in check.
You would get along with Farron. You have a mouth too.
I can back it up.
Yeah, so can he.
Yeah. That's why I really like him.
You and everybody else.
Shall we go see CC? So we can separate curse E from cursed object?
Yeah, I will go about purifying these bones. Because
Words words that can only be said by a cleric.
a cleric. Yep.
If the beverages
Especially-
were here, there would be a. I got a bone to purify later. No, sorry.
Yeah. Bazil and Cinnamon will get forward through. Bazil would before we head off, actually while we're going, you should no, we're still not entirely welcome within the expedition. They still kind of well, we're not wanted for what we were before, but
But we're still wanted.
we're still wanted.
Makes
we
me
should,
feel all warm inside.
We should watch our back and
Basil, for a chef, you have umpteen mysteries around you. And one day you're gonna have to actually tell us something about yourself other than you like to cook. And you can open up an interdimensional pantry.
well, that's stories for another time, which I'm still not entirely sure about. Also, Minerva, we should definitely make sure we watch your back. Let's go!
Oh, if he wants to start something in public, be my flippin' guest. But I will
does-
take an alternative route with away from the party because I'm recognizable by the company I keep, and I'll pull up some kind of cloak action.
Isn't Terza going to cleanse the bones first?
The bones that we left with the gauntleted bones. The skull, unfortunately, is still tied to the true roots.
We can't cleanse that.
Deny, like, there's a chance with the cleanse of the bone. Whatever your patron wants with the true root might get irrevocably damaged.
Yeah, we have to
Okay,
give it
so
to
we'll-
him.
And unfortunately, I hate that too. You don't want that Dauphiné to hold a grudge against you. In any regard, doesn't matter how cocky you think you are, how long you think you are, he will outlive you
I mean, that's a given.
5 times over
Also,
and will bring whatever retributions down, potentially on your children or your children's children of his choosing.
also we'll live long enough to reproduce.
Oh, that's not a guarantee. I'm just saying he can get
Roger
creative.
that.
You really, really, really don't want to cross him. The stories I've heard alone make me wonder why you in particular, let this group make a deal with him. Death Oath, I understand, but still, of all of them, you chose him.
Not much of a choice.
Yeah, it's like making a deal with the devil when the only way to live is to take his hand. Sometimes you
Only
just don't
time
have it.
devils make deals when you don't have any choice. Why they're so
Yeah.
good at it.
Yep.
He makes such bad deals for us. So, Uli will cast Disguise Self on himself.
Minerva will cast
But-
invisibility on herself. And I will depart by side entrance to meet up
Away
with the
from the-
crew. Yeah,
Oh.
away from the parties, because they'll recognize me by who I'm with.
So the Waymakers with Minerva out to the side. Run. You'll. Does the disguise cell or the invisibility, if Run's sitting on your shoulder, he counts as a separate entity, right? Brandon-
Invisibility, anything I am wearing or carrying is invisible.
On your person.
Yep.
If it's a second person, like a second entity, does that Brandon as the other DM in here and Steph as the future? I'm almost willing to rule it would need to be 2 because it wouldn't cover him because he technically, even though he's on her,
He's not on my shoulder. He's on what's her face's. I depart. Deuces. I'm out.
disregard everything I just said. So, Run, before you could even hop on Minerva's shoulder, she's out. So,
She's cast invisibility in a huff, and there's a bang of a side exit door somewhere in the building.
and then another one because you realize you actually went the wrong way and you actually.
Muttering under my breath, you didn't see anything. Literally.
So, he's not on Tears' shoulder. Like, he got off her shoulder almost immediately after they came in. So, do you wish to find another shoulder to hop on, Run, or do you wish to just tunnel on your own with the group? Okay.
Oh my
So-
god. You can use your legs? I thought they were broken.
Yeah, his legs are broken because his hands will one-shot anything I toss his way.
Right?
So the Waymakers with Palos, Dauger, and Denaya, temporarily along with Toe, head out to a busy thoroughfare to turn the corner to make the way around the circle to Cece's residence. It's much, much, much busier like before. This time, as you're going through, there's definitely some looks through the crowd as, like, familiarity, all kind of, some of them pointed on Denaya, but some just upon the group as a whole. You don't recognize any of these faces, but you get the sense Denaya might not be the only person now that's noticed.
Infamous?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't know where to take because you don't know the present. You don't know if there's a literal bounty on all of your heads, or whether there's a just outstanding, hey, you see these people, give them a pat on the back because they defy the like. You don't know in the last month what the inner workings of the expedition are, having gone through the meat grinder that has been the Flokar Wilds thus far. There's still quite a few there, but you have to assume, depending upon which route they took, it could have been attrition just to get to this point.
Right.
Now, as you make your way over, you do. Dracthor just kind of like fills up, looks down. Oh, sees this little girl in like a cloak. Like, am I supposed to help you? Sorry, I don't have any food to give you. Don't you recognize me? No. Oh, it's okay. You got the goods? Little girl, I do not know who you are talking about. Look, I'm just trying to tell you guys you gotta get over to the corner before you go to see the boss. We should take care of business, right? As her eyes flash gold. Your eyes are looking really weird. I think you should go see a doctor about this. Let's go, Dracthor. Moves over to Uli. Excuse me, Mr. Salt and Pepper?
Yes, ma'am.
Eyes flash gold. I think you should come with me before you go and see the mistress. I believe you have something. Looks down at Run. One last little bit of business.
Ah. Yes, I think that might be wise. Do you have a place we can talk privately?
It will lead you off the path. You were heading this way. You only got halfway, and you're now heading kind of back towards the front of town proper. Kind of goes in and finds a door and like won't take not but 5 minutes.
After you.
Oh no, he's inside.
I'm talking to Uli.
We will step forward. Is it the Shadrian or the girl with the dragons?
As you look down, you realize, oh, that's the protege. He must have taught her some tricks. Like how to mask her blue skin or to make her eyes flash the way they did. Little Lunette.
Right.
You head inside, all of you, and she closes the door behind you with her inside, and you see at a table, kind of sitting there, the Shadrian in his proper form. You're all alive. Well done. And I don't know if you noticed, but you stirred up quite a commotion with that exit. I've been popping off. The town mistress has been head over heels trying to keep that contained. Whatever you did seems to have got whatever is inside there all riled up. But that is neither here nor there. Simply events playing out, which, let's run. I simply require the root. Just the root. I just want the root. That was the arrangement. Yes, I promise, I swear, I simply want the root. You may have the skull after. He takes it. I need you to roll me an insight as he takes the skull. Puts his thumb on the bridge of the nose to get a grip on the root that's coming out of the forehead. For a brief second, you felt two no's. Like, no, but you can't place where those came from, but for some reason you distinctly felt like something was going, no. He plucks the root out of the skull like almost gingerly. As promised. And he will hold the skull back out to you, Ron. Fascinating. So, am I right to assume this grew out of him? No. I guess that would make him the true root in the end, but it was not what I sent you for. This will do just finely, and I hold my word and my bargains. I now hold the matter between us regarding your life debt fully concluded. You have done your end to fulfill what I had done on mine. And like that, your hands are now clean. Just remember, don't go back to the forest the way you came, especially not you, Dragthor. He will still kill you on sight. And Mr. Uli, you most assuredly definitely don't go back that way. He will most likely eat you alive.
DM, I kind of regret now that I went a separate route. I want to ask him a question, but I'm not present. Is there any way you'd allow me to retcon that I'm walking with them just invisible?
He will then turn and just, oh, don't be shy. I know you're there.
I wasn't hiding.
Oh, yes, you were. Well, not from them.
Not from you.
everyone. I don't take it personally, don't worry. So, this is your last chance. All of you. I take my leave from here and pray our paths don't cross again. They might. Looks over at Denia, who is now part of this, kind of looking very confused, but also very. I think we might cross paths yet again. You brave, stupid people.
Speaking of brave and stupid, I think I met one of your kin.
Really?
Golden, honey-tongued, appears in dreams.
What did you do? He kind of leans in just.
I'm holding the spell, by the way, because I don't want to have to cast it again. So he's just looking into thin air to
Yeah,
everyone
but, like,
else's.
Yeah, but it's like he can see you
Oh yeah,
with his eyes.
I'm sure he's got blind sight. I was never under any illusion I was, hidden from him.
I might have. Survive the
That's-
next 12 hours. I think I must have one word with you alone. You just moved up from curiosity to fascination.
God's help me. I'll tell you what was said.
No. Don't spoil the surprise. I mustn't keep you much longer. Besides, I got the time.
Hey, Jim. What is the celestial?
The Celestial. Oh. You refer to him. Or rather, capital H-I-M. I know what you are, my dear. My eyes are not blind. I have been wondering when this piece would appear. I must say your mother did a very, 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 very good job hiding you all the way out here. I don't think it was an intentionality. It clearly wasn't mine to reveal you with these hooligans. No offense meant to you all, but you are.
Uh-huh.
But I've heard the whispers of what has happened since that night. Our father, the progenitor of basically the empires. The empire. The last emperor, High Imperator Azure III. His line. The one, the only Azamar on this plane. The Celestial is their father. You forget who you're dealing with. Denier. And I know that's not your real name. I'm very curious what comes next, though. Especially since I can smell my brother on all of you.
You're gonna have to be more specific.
The one from the Chaos. What was his
He
name?
would have called
Undefined?
Oh, that one.
Cloaked Armor one, sour temper, probably referred to himself as Remnant.
Yeah,
That's what.
him. Gotcha. Yeah, we had a brief run-in with him. Super nice to protect us.
I want to take all of you away and just study you. I don't know what is passing. But I have my own fish to fry at the moment. And the game is not quite ready to start. So,
Your
Lunette,
since you
shown the door. You may finish your query, my darling, but then you
There we
must take your leave.
it's not like we could do anything about it, but I am dread curious. What do you intend to do with the root?
Now, that was not part of our agreement. I saved your lives next.
Not even for your fascination?
You're very tempting, and you're trying to get some information out of me, which I guess I must commend, because I would have been the same in your shoes, but... No. Let's just say... The stories of what this is and represents fascinate me. There's a little bit of personal history. Some things I hope will come clearer, more tangible. I'm a scholar. I study. And this is one of those things that just an impossibility that spawns further impossibility. An enigmatic paradox. Should keep me entertained for quite some time.
I rolled a 21 intelligence. Am I picking up what he's laying down?
Now, even with a 21, this is a demigod insinuating demigod level plans. So it makes complete sense to him what he just said, and you have no context and no clue because you have to remind yourself this is a demigod.
You know
Who
what?
is
He's
view of
verbalizing it. He's verbalizing it as if it's a toy. That's good enough for me.
Enjoy your talk. Oh, and when I said please survive the next 12 hours and we'll talk, I wasn't lying.
Yeah,
And I
well,
wasn't
will.
being facetious.
I will do my best.
Oh, and as the door closes, Palos, stay out of this. You don't belong. Let this play out. And that, with the door closed in your faces, your debt to the Shadrian is paid in full. Trueroot has been delivered. Run has a 3-hold skull. And you all, with Palos Tajir and Denia, and an invisible Minerva, stand on the doorway with a short walk just ahead around the corner to Cece to explain what transpired and move one step closer to culminating this tale. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be our session tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Bit of a wonky one. We have some circumstances and situations transpiring, but such is life. We've been praying for each other. But tune in for next session. Should be next week. As always, we're the Holy Rollers. God bless. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time.